Hey, what's up everybody? Joshua Casper back at you with Plugin Boutique, and today we're checking out another installment in the virtual drummer series from UJAM, and this one is called Deep. It's a modern drummer experience with a 60s and 70s drum kit inspired vibe. Now, I've already covered many virtual drummers from UJAM and a bunch of their instruments. So in this video, I'm not going to be diving into advanced features like dragging and dropping MIDI clips from the player into your DAW or routing individual outputs to different channels in your DAW, because I've done all of that in other videos and it works the same way here. So what I'm going to do is just focus on the drums because I think they sound absolutely fantastic. Inside of Ableton Live, I've got like 3 minutes of drum MIDI laid out, and I'm just going to go ahead and flip through all of the different presets and let you just hear the different characteristics that you can get or expect to get out of this plugin. Before we do that, I'm just going to quickly run through the interface here. We've got our single hits over here. So the kick is going to be on C1, and that's a normal place for a kick to be inside of a MIDI clip. If you have some drum MIDI from wherever, you can use that with Deep easily enough. Just drag that MIDI into your MIDI channel that has Deep on it, and Deep will play it as normal. It also has styles, which are preset MIDI clips that come with Deep that were made by the team over at UJAM. So if I press C3, it's going to give me a nice preset. Now, all of the other MIDI up to the stop button over here or the stop MIDI note will have different MIDI arrangements in the same style as this one is called Space Lift, and it's at 85 BPM. You can see that there's just basic fluctuations here, and that would be for the verse, and then we have a bunch for the chorus. We also have fills, intros, and endings, as well as breakdowns, and that's for all of these different presets inside of here. So you see you got quite a bunch and a large range in terms of BPM as well. Down here, we've got the drum kit selection. We've got 5 different drum kits loaded in, and then we have a grit control, which is going to kind of like a multi-effect to add some grittiness to them. So if I go ahead and play this, you can see that that grit control adds a bunch of saturation, some compression there, just to make them sound a little bit more deep, soulful, a nice vibe. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and just loop this first 4 bars. It's just so we can hear the different kits on that same drum pattern. Let's listen to it with the grit all the way up, all 5 of them. Then I'm going to turn the grit all the way down and preview the 5 kits again so you can hear the differences there. All right, so there you go. And over here, we have a number of mix presets, and then we can have an amount slider to apply it's essentially, again, a multi-effect to give it a gentle feel, garage, age, dark, lo-fi, and slam. So for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and turn it up to 100%, because if it's down at 0, you're just going to get the normal kit. You're just essentially bypassing the mix preset at that point. So I'm going to go ahead and crank it all the way up, and let's listen to these different presets. So with just these parameters here, you can really start to sculpt the sound of the drums and the drum kits themselves. But down here, you actually have individual control over the kick, snare, tom, hi-hats, rides, and crashes. So if you click on any one of these individually, you can actually switch up the different drum slot from the different kicks. So you can mix and match your own kit if you wanted to. You can do that with the snare, the toms, and so on. Inside of there, you also have the decay amount, tuning for every one of those, and a reverb send amount as well as a solo and mute. Here is where you can actually do individual output routing, and I've done a video tutorial on this. It's going to work the same way, so go check out that video. I'll leave it in the video description. One thing that is new here is we actually have control over the mix of the overhead and room mics, which is very, very cool, and it really changes the dynamic of the actual sound that was recorded and is used inside of Deep. It's very, very cool. And over here we have our master effects, where we have reverb, saturation, and maximizer, and we can also change the different reverb to these different types down here. So very, very in-depth control that is simple to use and is going to give you great results no matter what. You're going to have a hard time making these drums sound bad just because of the layout and how it functions and how they sounded to begin with. There are micro tuning options over here in the top. If you want to jump into that, there's a latch option. If I click that and then hit something, it's just going to play until I hit stop or disengage the latch option. And while that's happening, we can check out a few fills. And it goes that way for all of these different styles. So each one of these is essentially a set of MIDI presets that go really well together. Look at them like songs, essentially, or song starters. And as I said before, if you click right here, you can drag and drop into your DAW, the actual MIDI file for that particular note. So if I'm looking to edit that fill, I can bring that into my DAW that way. Very, very simple. Up here are the overall presets, and this is where everything will get updated as I switch through. So if I go to Pure Gold, it's changed the drum kit, it's changed the mix preset, the amounts for the grit, and the mix preset amount as well. And it's updated the style, and it's updated everything else down here. So it's like the global preset. While if I like the Pure Gold, how it sounds, but I want a different performance, I can come in and then change the style down here individually. Everything will stay the same, nothing will be updated, but this changes everything. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to spend the rest of this video running through a ton of these different presets, starting in the hip hop category. And I'm just going to let it play for maybe 3 minutes, and every 4 bars I'm going to switch to a new preset to give you a different characteristic and a different feel to the types of sounds that you can expect from Virtual Drummer Deep, and I'm going to leave it there. And as I said before, I've done a bunch of video tutorials, and I'm going to leave links to those in the video description if you're looking to learn about the technical side of using these instruments rather than just about how they sound. That being said, let's go ahead and check out some of the different characteristics and different drum kits you can get inside of Virtual Deep.